Hello, guys. Welcome to this live podcast. Wheresoever you are, we want to say welcome. We want to say good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are viewing us this time, we want to say you are welcome to the exchange where we bring people from diverse background to discuss issues relating to the students' drugs on the youthful population. Uh, like uh, like Shannon, for the past time, I think we brought a guest here before, right? Who talked about substance, drugs, and abuse. So it's alarming that you see young people uh really concerned. Their concern have been drawn to the effects of drugs among our young people, and it's interesting that almost all the young people are like wants to talk about this source abuse that are tying down our youthful generation down to this. So today we have been joined way there from Monrovia, Liberia. We have been joined by Ambassador Lawrence today to discuss the topic on a discussion. Briefly, we will get to our panelists for a short introduction and we strictly get the show. So we start with Shannon Mova. Shannon Pane.
Hello to my fellow viewers out there. Again, I'm Sianen El Banan on the show again. Uh, I'm from Liberia. I'm a Liberian. I hail from Lofa County and currently studying in India at Kate University. Thank you.
To Harriet Mova.
Once again, I say welcome to my viewers and panelists. My name is Harriet Lapumola. I'm in India, yes, in this. I'm Liberian.
Thank you very much for that brief introduction, Harriet Mova. That was the voice of Harriet Mova. And today we have our guest with us who will be discussing the topic the challenge in the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia, effects of drugs on the youth populations. We want to say welcome to the exchange on Ambassador Lawrence. If we will give you the time to introduce yourself shortly, if people hear Ambassador Lawrence, what comes to their mind?
Hello, am I live and clear?
Are you there? Sure.
Hello, am I live? Am I live? Am
You
I
are
clear?
audible, Chief.
Okay, thank you so much. It's good to be on your show. It is my pleasure to be here today. The time in Monrovia is 4:46, and my name is Lawrence De Yuga, and I head of Dream Builders International, a youth organization that is leading the fight against drugs and substance abuse in Liberia and society, molding the minds of young people, raising young leaders. And I also serve as the regional speaker of the ECOWAS Youth Assembly. Presently, we are in 10 countries across Africa, and I'm the lead campaigner for the passage of the drug law. I'm a student of Lincoln College of Marketing. I'm also a student of the Liberia Institute for Public Speaking and Public Relations. doing speech analysis and public speaking as well. It's actually my pleasure to be on the show today, and I hope and pray that this conversation will be excellent. And it's good to be on the show specifically with us as young people discussing issues of national concern as it relates to the issue of drug and substance abuse. It is my pleasure to be here today. I'm a global peace ambassador. I'm an ambassador against racism. The time of joy to be ambassador against racism, and I also run the World Young Leader for Humanity in Liberia. I serve as a country representative. That group is based in Canada and also based in Accra, Ghana. And so it's good to be on your show today.
Thank you so much. That was the voice of our guest, who will be discussing the topic today: the challenges in the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia. The underlying word is illicit. Illicit, in another word, means uh, that are not useful within the country. Drugs that have been abandoned by law, rules, or custom. So effects on drugs, effects on the youthful populations. So, Mr. Guest, Mr. Guest Speaker, on today's show we have the topic. So what comes to your mind? What people have to understand when it comes to the challenges of drugs? What are some challenges Liberia is actually facing with illicit drugs?
Yes, the issue of drug and substance abuse has become an instrument for the falling of African generation. The issue of drug and substance abuse is gradually becoming a culture in our society. And according to the United Nations Drug and Crime Division, in 2050, you will have over 50 million young people in Africa falling prey to illicit drugs. And the report did not stop there. It also said that most African nations law on drug, they are actually weak, meaning you will arrest a drug dealer, you carry him to court. The next morning he come back to the community, meaning that the law is bailable. So from our angle as activists and head of organization, we have said to the government of Liberia, the drug law should be strong. We want a non-bailable drug law. So at the end of the day, those that are bringing in the harmful substances, they will bear the full weight of the law. There are challenges in the fight against drug in Liberia. One, Liberia drug law is very weak. The law is not strong. Those that are bringing in the drugs, the law is protecting them in the sense that when you go to jail, you will file a bond and come back to the community. The effect on our population, it is certainly depleting. It is reducing our population. It is reducing the manpower. It is reducing and it is putting threat to national security because those guys whose society has named as Zogos, whose society has named as disadvantaged youth, if nothing is done, Liberia will lose the next generation of young people to drug. So we have said to the government of Liberia, you need to tighten the drug law, you need to pass a drug law, you need to build a rehab center so that we can get our young people from the street. Presently, there are over 300,000 plus young people that are into drug. They are in Monrovia. They are all part of our country. You go to Nima, you will see the Zogos. You go to Bon County, you will certainly see them. You go to Nima, you will see them. So they are growing in their numbers. And Zogos are actually born in Zogos. The ghetto now is populated. The street is not safe. It puts the security of the state at risk. So we're calling on the government for a tougher law against drugs so as to curtail this whole issue about drug at this early stage. So that is the whole challenges about the issue of drug and substance abuse in Liberia. And presently, the drug law is before the House of Senate. The law has not yet been passed. The law is still in the Liberian Senate, and record has shown that Liberia is one of the countries in the world that have the weakest drug law. So up to this time, we don't have a drug law. Up to this time, the DEA do not have over 10 pickers. Up to the time, the DEA do not have 1,000 manpower. Up to this time, the DEA budget have not yet reached 1 million United States dollar. So these are some of the challenges as it relates to the issue of drug and substance abuse in Liberia. I'm not hearing you. I think you are muted. I'm not hearing him. I think he
Yeah,
is muted, so I'm
my
actually not.
colleagues, they are facing some internet problem.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, sir, like you talk about so many things, like about the challenges that we're facing to fight against um what illicit drugs in Liberia. So I
Illicit
want to ask you
drugs.
questions. Yeah, illicit drugs in Liberia, like illegal drugs in Liberia. Yeah, be it like the one with those people who have like called Zogos in Liberia that have taken, which would be cocaine of other things, and also on the medical side, we learned that there are lot of drugs that we call medicine that people take in like for health, to resolve health issues. Yeah, we got to know, we learned that, and we know that there are a lot of drugs like expired drugs that are not working, that is like imported in Liberia, and is um have some side effects for patients in
Are you
those that
kidding?
buy it to take it in. So yeah, Elijah, you are back, right? Hello, Elijah.
Yeah, you can continue. You can continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so sir, I have a
Give me a
question.
question.
Yeah. So, based on my research, I got to know that there are a lot of international organizations that is working along with the Liberia Drugs and Enforcement Agency to fight against these illegal drugs. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to know, do you have any idea to it that we are getting so much support from the international world to work along with the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, and yet we are still facing this difficulties. We are still facing difficulties when it comes to this issue, because this is really killing our generation. It's killing our citizens back home. Yeah, if you look in the ghetto, like even on the street, those that say the loading car, or those who consider as zogos, they are young people, you that could help tomorrow, or could be better future leaders for our country tomorrow. Yeah, this situation is really killing them. There are a lot of young people in the ghetto, that this drugs business is really killing. And also, all of these things we get to know that they're all done because there are weak laws made for this situation in Liberia. So I really want to know: do you have any idea that Liberia is getting so much support from the international world, but yet we are still facing these difficulties? Why is the problem?
Over the time, I think if we say Liberia has been getting support, there are forms and minor or I could safely say, and I don't want to say that we are not getting support, specifically the LDA, but from our research, the DEA do not have a budget of 1 million United States dollars. So I don't know what kind of support are you talking about. The DEA do not have 20 vehicles. I don't know the kind of support you're talking about. 85% of those that are working with and for the DEA, they are all volunteers. I don't know what kind of support you're talking about. Painesville City, to where I reside, have 5 electoral districts, and Painesville is the biggest city in Liberia. And within Painesville, the DEA do not have 5 vehicles. So I still don't know which kind of support you are talking about. But I think the DEA need more support if we are getting support. The DEA do not have a manpower of 1,000. Liberia have over 247 borders entry points, and all of those borders are poor. They are not protected to that extent. So for that reason, relate to support, I don't know which kind of support. DA might work with our partners, but DA is not certified with the kind of support they are getting. The support is not to that level that we expect for the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency to have had. So the support is not sufficient, and Liberia is lacking behind as it relates to the fight against drug and substance abuse. So to answer your question, the support the DA is getting is actually not sufficient.
Okay, thank you. Elijah, you can take over.
Yeah, thank you very much. As we talking about today, the challenges Liberia is faced with when it comes to uh, drugs and substance abuse in Liberia. So, you may mention in your elaboration about drugs coming where the government is able to figure out who are those major characters that are bringing the drugs within the country, and notwithstanding, is the challenges coming with from the people that are bringing the drugs or the people that are actually taking the substance? Who are the one that is more difficult to deal with or to get along with within the country?
Sincerely, if the government of Liberia want to fight the issue of drugs, you have to fight it from both ends. Those that are bringing the drugs, if you do not put hard punishment, they will destroy the fabric of the society. And those that are taking the drugs, if you don't rehabilitate them, there will also be a problem to manpower. There will be a problem to security. There will be a problem to mental health illnesses and all of that. So all sector is challenged. Those that are bringing in a drug, they need to be tracked down with a strong drug law. And those that are affected, they should be going for rehab so as to address this issue of drug and substance abuse in Liberia.
Thank you very much. If you are following us wheresoever you are, we want to say welcome to the Exchange. The Exchange is a 1 hour 30 minutes program bringing to you by the group of panelists. Wherever you are, we want to say welcome to the Exchange. The Exchange is streamed on 3 different platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Wheresoever you are following us this time, we want to say you are welcome. Today we are talking about talking point is the challenges in the fight of illicit drugs in Liberia. On the effects of drugs on the youthful populations. So, Mr. Guest, so one will ask, what are the effects? What are the trickle down effects that drugs is actually playing on the youthful populations from all dimensions, from all sectors? because today we see most of our young people who have been high school drop, or some of them have been colleges drop out, some of them are homeless, and the rest of them. So can you figure out what are some trickle down effects that drugs have on the youthful population, and where do we stand when it comes to the next generation to come with the statistics just give us when it comes to the number of young people who are actually consuming the drugs within the country, Liberia?
According to an unofficial statistic from organizations are being conducted, for example, by Scripture Survey, by the LDA and other organizations, there are over 300,000 plus young people that are actively on drug abuse in Liberia. The only mentor in this country, which is the ES Grant Mental Home, that mental home now is refusing patients. 85% of the cases that go to the ES Grant, they are all drug related cases. The issue of drug abuse is alarming in Liberia. 300,000 plus young people are actively on drug and in Liberia. On a daily basis, the street is recruiting young people in the name of drugs. On a daily basis, young people are getting up on drugs in Liberia. So this is just hello,
Yeah, as a young man, yeah, hello, as a young man
hello.
fighting against the, hello, are you getting me? Hello, as a young man fighting against the fights of drugs in our country, Mama Liberia,
Hello.
how do you see from the things where Liberia is headed? I mean, the youthful population is headed with the number of, like I said, with the statistics given. Where do you think Liberia is actually headed? After this, we can Harriet Moba. If she have any other question,
We,
then we can hear from her.
we are heading for disaster. This generation, we are heading for disaster. And a case study, like there's a country in South America or whatsoever called Mexico, we they are sharing common borders with the United States. If you follow the history of Mexico, that particular generation before this one actually fall prey to drug. So there is a drug culture in Mexico to the extent that the drug dealers will fire back at the police. So if nothing is wrong, Liberia is gradually moving to that point where Zogos will walk to your house and take your television and nobody will actually attack them. Liberia is reaching to a point, if we don't address this drug issue, we will lose our generation to drug. Liberia is reaching to a point that tomorrow we might not have professional medical doctors. We might not have professional lawyers if all of our young people are in the ghettos and if the government do not address the issue of drug and substance abuse, we will lose an entire generation to drug. This is our fear as young people who are leading the fight against drugs.
Thank you very much. We will listen to Harriet Moba if she have any questions. Today we are talking on the topic drugs, fight against challenges, the fight against of drug in Liberia today. And we have with us our guest way from there, Monrovia, Mama Liberia, speaking to us about the challenge Liberia is faced with drugs, sustained drugs abuse in Liberia. So we turn over the pendulum to Harriet Mova.
Yes, we are talking about drugs and substance abuse. I want to know what are some of the laws that you think government have to put in place to fight drugs and substance abuse because, like he said, the statistics and World Organization gave was so high from now to 50 years from now, Liberia will be highly infected with drugs abuse. So, what do you think are some of the methods that government have put in place to fight against drugs abuse?
Some of those methods that the government can put in place, one is to pass a drug law. Let me inform this platform that the drug law is still in the Liberian Senate. The drug law has spent close to 4 months in the Senate without consideration. So, from the look of things, Liberia do not have a law against drugs. Anybody can sell drug, they will take them to the court, and the next morning they come back in the community. The law is weak. The drug law in Liberia protects the drug dealers, and the user are the victim. The first thing the Liberian government should do, those things that should be put into place, is to pass a drug law. Number one. Number two, they should declare a national emergency as it relates to the fight against drug. Let the president declare a national emergency like was done to the issue of rape. Number three, the government should empower the LDEA to give them technological support. The government should give them budget to look at the issue of drug and substance abuse. The government should empower community-based organizations to continue the awareness in the fight against drugs. If that is not done, my dear sister, Liberia is heading for disaster. If that is not done, you will come from India, you will remain on our airport, and you will go right back because those guys are growing in their numbers. Zogos in Liberia are burning Zogos. They are burning in the ghettos. They are not going to school. Their mothers giving them breast right in the ghettos. They are not receiving education. So the next 10 years, you will raise another generation from the ghettos. And if nothing is done, Liberia will lose good numbers of young people to the issue of drug and substance abuse. Pass a drug law, build a rehab center, declare drugs and substance abuse as a national emergency, empower the LDEA, then Liberia is ready to win the war against drugs abuse.
Okay. Yes, again, I want to ask a question because when we talk about drugs abuse, it's not like foreign substance, but almost like medical and pills you can take too. It can also be drugs abuse. So I want to know what are some of the methods that you think because we have trauma drug can be used as drugs too. But like heavy substance, if you overuse, it become it will give you like effect on your health. So I know like what
With
some think the health Ministry of Health can put in place to not sell tramadol or medical pills to people who are not sick so that we can see towards reducing of drugs abuse in our country.
with that one, it need consciousness. Because if Lawrence go to the drugstore, Lawrence is not suffering from cancer to give him chemotherapist, which is a medicine to reduce the pain for cancer patient. or you go to the drugstore, you are not having severe pain and you want to get tramadol without a medical prescription. Those pills should not be sold out there to just anybody. One, it have to do with being patriotic. The issue of drug, it need collective effort. And what is happening that will amaze you, the kind of drug the young people are taking in Liberia is beyond tramadol. The guys are grinding the bones of the dead bodies. Hello, am I reconnected?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Lawrence.
Yeah, are you hearing? Am I reconnected?
Yeah.
So the guys are grinding the bones of the dead body and smoking the bones. Right in the grave, they grind the dead body bones and smoke. And what happened is they would drink the water as a means of inspiration. So this is the extent to
I think we are having some technical problem today. So as we are talking about drugs abuse, we have to work towards drugs abuse. Everyone have to work collaboratively to work towards drugs abuse. Elijah,
Yeah.
so,
Hello.
yes,
Yeah. Thank you very much. Tonight we facing some technical problem tonight. We hope that our guests join us again. As you can see, we are discussing the topic on the discussion challenges Liberia is actually faced with when it comes to substance and drugs abuse. You see, Harry, it will interest you to know that most of our young people today are actually involved in uh, drugs abuse. We talk about substance and drugs abuse on one of our show. You will notice that almost all the young people are like interested in the fact of discussing this substance drugs abuse because people have understand that it's not no longer necessary to get yourself involved with something that's going to track you down, track your future, and track everything about you down. So people are no longer interested in such things. So you see the young people are today really conversing, and most of them are trying to educate the young people on substance drugs abuse. Now, one thing that make it more difficult, Harriet, it will interest you to know that today, if you are sick and you have to go to the pharmacy, to the hospital, people will say, "Where's the prescriptions?" They don't want to sell the drugs to you because if they sell the drugs to you, you will have to pay for it. And most of them are not interested in
Hi, our fellow viewers out there. My colleagues are facing so much technical issue from the end because of the Wi-Fi connection they are connected to, or something like that. Okay, so the topic under discussion today is the challenges in the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia and the effects of drugs on the youthful population. We all know about drugs abuse in Liberia, and also that three people or like three, let me just say, participants that we think that can help fight against this drugs abuse in Liberia. Number one is the government. Second, our parents in